Welcome into the Pats Nation. I'm Corso. There's Catone. Joe is here in the booth with us. You are watching us on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, anywhere you podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. Give us that thumbs up. Like the show. That's what we're looking for. Leave a comment. You can email us in our mailbag, corso.catone@gmail.com, or leave us a message in Heated Hotline, 855-313-PATS, P-A-T-S. It's a message line 24/7. Have a take. Leave one. Joe's going to look through them, sift through them, and maybe he'll pick yours. So make sure you're doing that. Got a good one today. We're going to be talking this trip down to Tennessee today. The Patriots take on the Tennessee Titans at 1 p.m. Eastern. Mike Vrabel's homecoming, I guess you would say, trip back to Tennessee, but we're going to talk Drake Maye, talk a little bit about Drake Maye, what he needs to do today, go into Pat's preview, talk offensive keys to victory, defensive keys to victory, and go into Coach's Corner, see how they're doing. And, of course, we're going to try to make you a little bit of money. Mark did pretty good last week.
All right.
Got a couple good ones.
Couple.
Sunday spread. We certainly had the New England game, so that was good. You know, he could have decided to pick them. So, good morning. Hi, guys.
Happy Sunday.
Good morning.
This fine morning, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, weather's a hell of a lot better here locally than it was last week. Last week it was raining, and nice day today, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been beautiful here. I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Temperature now has dropped. It's been 80 at night.
Oh, rub it in. Go ahead, rub it in.
Cool at night. I was coaching in that game the other night, looking up, saying, geez, what what weather this is to kick the crap out of one of these other teams, take their soul, which was nice. So, but we're ready for this game today against Tennessee. The Patriots to go down to Tennessee and try to make it 3 in a row on the road, which hasn't been done since before the Crafts owned the team. This was done, I think, in the playoffs.
Wow.
I don't think it's ever been done by this franchise in the regular season. But it was done in the playoffs to squish the fish year in 1985 when the Patriots had to win 3 straight games on the road.
They never won 3 in a row on the road in the Brady era?
Never.
Oh, wow.
Never 3 straight road games. And I'm sure partly because the schedule doesn't usually set up that. We don't usually get screwed that way with the schedule, But I can't bitch about the schedule. The schedule's so damn easy. So, but you want to talk about this one, guys?
Let's do it.
Or do you want to just, adjourn for the day, have some Bloody Marys, and call it a day? What do you think? All right.
You can do that, too.
So, let's start with Drake Mania. Joe?
Talked about being able to recognize when the pocket is still there and be able to climb and transfer into the pocket as opposed to, just extending and cutting half the field. Did that at times. Still some things to work on and improve there. But I think that there is, there's a high level of confidence in the guys that he's throwing to, ball placement, decision-making, timing, all those things, accuracy that are critical, and so those are things that we're continuing to see.
Well, I would say that the credit goes to Drake. That's what it always go to. It's not going to go to anybody other than the player that's doing that and improving and understanding and making the plays. His ability to throw off platform and extend and keep his eyes downfield. There were some things that we asked him to work on that Josh and Ashton asked him to work on. Coming out of Buffalo, I felt like he tried to do that, and then
screw Josh.
Ashton have the ability to extend. But I think that's
right.
When quarterbacks can feel the rush, but also see downfield and see things develop. That can be deadly. Just it's hard to defend that as opposed to guys that you see them when they drop down, their eyes go down to the rush. Now they can't see guys open up and come free. On the third level. Josh, I think the relationship is great. I think we have a young quarterback coach that we feel very strongly about.
Ashton Grant. Boom.
And I think he serves a different purpose than Josh. Josh has one relationship with the quarterbacks, and I think Ashton has another, and I think that's a good dynamic. I think Josh continues to put things on their plate, and especially Drake, and give him things to look for, look at, and continue to develop.
Okay, so that was Mike Vrabel talking about his quarterback, and then asked the question about what's the relationship like between Drake Maye and Josh McDaniels.
It's great. And then he started with Ashton.
With Josh, it's great. Done. Josh, great. Boom. And then on to the question, and on to somebody nobody asked him about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think of that? What do you make of that?
Well, because Ashton was his guy, right? He brought him in, right? So if you know, and you asked this question, Chris, but at the beginning of training camp. Actually, no, going back to like May when they brought him in April, you were like, whose hire was Josh? You said, I think it was the Crafts. Well, Jesus Christ, you got your answer, didn't you? Every week, it's the same thing, Chris.
Yeah. It's glaring.
But I could see if he was doing a bad job, Chris. I mean, he's doing a good job with Drake, obviously.
Look, what Drake Maye is able to do off schedule, okay, off script, move out of the pocket, roll out, find guys, throw from the run. This, obviously that's a talent that we haven't had on this team ever.
All the greatness Tom Brady was and had, and that wasn't one of his things, Chris.
And so that's fine. So I want to give McDaniels credit in the sense of, well, allowing him to not stick, the square peg into the round hole, letting the kid be what he is a little. I think you saw in the Raiders game that didn't happen.
You said that, Chris, after that game. You said they're not allowing this kid to be who he is.
Right. And so, I think McDaniels shows the flexibility to do that. Now, maybe he's being told to do it. I don't know. We don't know that. We can only go with the data we have. And what we have is our OC that's taking care of business out there. Now you get to the New Orleans game last week, where now he's sitting in the pocket. He's reading things. He's reading cornerback leverage. He's reading choice routes. He's on the same page with his receivers. His eyes are downfield. All the things Vrabel just talked about. He's stepping up in the pocket. He's climbing the pocket. He's shifting in. He's doing Brady-like things where Brady was the most mobile quarterback I've ever seen in the pocket, right? Buying himself time. Well, you got to give the OC some credit for that. No,
it's Ashton.
Oh yeah. So
no, yeah, of course you have to, Chris. How do you not listen? The only reason, listen, you saw in the pocket, moving up in the pocket, moving within the pocket. You saw Brady do that with Josh for all those years. Yeah. So how do you not equate that to Josh teaching him that stuff? Keeping your eyes downfield, moving in the pocket, sliding in the pocket, like you said. But that was what he did with Brady for all those years.
And I get it. Brady's Brady. I understand. I get all that.
He gets
penalized for having the best. Yeah, he gets penalized for having the best quarterback that ever lived. I get it.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay. Well, he did it with Mac Jones a little bit. He was a Pro Bowl alternate, but he still had a great year. Now he's doing it with his first opportunity with Drake Maye. It isn't even like it's taken him weeks and weeks and weeks to develop it. Drake Maye's the guy. We'll talk about this in a second. He's in the friggin' MVP race right now. So you got to give the OC a little more love than you're giving him, Mike. Come on. I'm not sure what the situation. Well, I know what the situation is there, but I think his plan is to make a change. But you can't make a change. You can't do it. And there's no reason to make a change coming after the season. What will be the reason? But focusing now on Maye, obviously the player. Because you can coach as much as you can, but when he gets out there, Mark, what do you see? He's controlling the offense, and I want to talk about what he needs to do today also. But the control he has of this offense right now, and how confident he looks, it's like nothing bothers him. Okay, there's a penalty. All right, so now it's 2nd and 15 now. Okay. Oh, so it's 3rd and 17. All right. Okay. It's just. Okay.
Technically, Chris, that ball he threw over the shoulder that Diggs got called for pass interference, which I didn't think it was, and neither did you. but we're not going to get into that right now. That was like a 3rd and 18 or something. They had a penalty
17.
before that, 17 something, and he just that was a perfect throw to Diggs. Should have been a first down. Unfazed. Should have been a first down.
And he's reading the field well. And that throw to Pop Douglas, he read that choice route, read the leverage of the.
You went through that on Corso and Catone a bit yesterday.
Go listen to that, but that he's reading in the pocket. So for those people out there, Felger and company that say, "Oh, I'd like what's it going to be like when he's able to read defenses?" Well, he's doing it.
Chris,
you just don't know what you're looking at. But
Chris, I mentioned this last week, and I'm going to mention it again. And you said, you know what, Mark, that's a good point. No one is saying that. And I'm going to say it again. He made a couple of plays again against New Orleans. The one moving up in the pocket, changing his arm angle, and throwing the ball to Hollins on a 3rd and 9. I think it was a 15-yard gain. And I believe the throw he made off script, I think it might have been the Trevion Henderson. Everybody keeps comparing him to Josh Allen, a young Josh Allen.
Yeah,
those
you said this. Yeah.
And I'm going to say it again this week. Those are Mahomes-esque plays, not Josh Allen, Chris. I'm not saying he's Pat Mahomes. He's not Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he is. But he's got a little bit of Mahomes in him, Chris. I'm going to say it. I've been seeing this now week after week. He's got a little bit of Mahomes in him.
Yeah, and then the way he's moving outside the pocket, the way he's, that play where he was getting, I think that's the one you're talking about, right? Where the 300-pound guy was on him and he still threw the ball. I mean, Allen's not doing that kind of stuff.
No, that's a Mahomes type of play.
More Mahomes-like than anything else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you're starting to hear the people, national media, local media, this is what they're saying. This is Greg Bedard.
I don't think he's been as closely managed as, say, Mac Jones, his rookie season. I mean, Drake Maye has a lot of controls at the line of scrimmage, and, he's doing a pretty good job of that. It's not perfect all the time. I would agree with you, especially in the second half when they needed some plays. I thought Drake did a good job manipulating the pocket, probably much better than he did against the Bills. Now, the Bills just let him kept rolling out to the right. He kept making plays. I thought the Saints and Brandon Staley did a good job of limiting that today, and I think Drake realized they're just not going to let me escape. I'm going to have to go up in the pocket.
And that's what we were talking about. So you saw it in the Saints game, his ability to keep his eyes upfield, climb the pocket, move in the pocket, shift, go through progressions, and like he said, he's got a lot of controls. So McDaniel's giving him the control. So today, now. Okay, looking at this game against the Titans, okay, are we going to see more of the same? I mean, I know this is a foregone conclusion to people, but I hate when coaching changes happen. When they fire their coach and then they get that interim guy and they have that one boost today,
I think I think they'll get a boost, Chris, but I think
they're talking about the Titans.
Yes, but I think the Patriots. I think they're playing for Vrabel today. I think you talked about yesterday. You talked about building a culture within this team, and that he's got the players' backs. Well, today they're going to have, I think, Vrabel's back, Chris. You saw how pumped up Diggs was going back to Buffalo. I think you're going to see a little bit more energy out of Diggs this week too, because I think he's going to play for Vrabel because they know Mike wants to stick it in this team's face that you let me go. I think he wishes it was still Callahan because that's who replaced him. But it's not Callahan. But he's still going to want to stick it to that ownership group.
Can Drake Maye, you see against this defense? I mean, they had 2 sacks last week against the Raiders, the Titans. Did they present any to Drake Maye from Maye's perspective?
So Chris, the Titans' pass defense is not good. However, they do get pushed in the middle by Jeffrey Simmons. So when we talk about moving up in the pocket, that might be a little more difficult this week with Jeffrey Simmons there, Chris. So you might see him actually roll out more and do a little bit of off-script stuff, similar to what you saw against Buffalo.
Yeah, because I don't know that the Titans have the edge play as good of edge play that the Saints had.
They don't. So that's why I think you're going to see them expose that because they do got Simmons in the middle, Chris.
And I do think it's going to come down to May because I think that we have trouble running the ball. We're going to talk about that next.
But I'm going to tell you something, Chris. They have an incredibly weak. They got the weakest running defense in the league. So if you can't run the ball this week, you have a problem.
Okay,
And
so we're going to.
But Chris, you have more of a problem than you thought you had if you can't run the ball against this team.
Well, we're going to talk about that in the next segment. But Drake Mania was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. Saturdays, noon Eastern. Hey, we got everything. We got B's and C's. We had Yankees, Red Sox. We just did our postmortem yesterday. Stay tuned to that. Mark lost it a little bit. Catone's comments and so much more.
You're going to bring that up again?
But when we come back, we're going to go Pat's preview. We're going to talk about what Mark is discussing, the running game, the offense, the defense, keys to victory, no flipping.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more Corso and Catone.
Saturdays at noon.
Back in with more Pats Nation. All right, so we broke down, talked a little bit about Drake Maye, some of the things that he needs to do. Mark, MVP candidate he is, by the way. He's like 6th in the running right now.
I don't think he'll win the MVP, but I think, people have to respect the fact that he's in the conversation. I mean, I don't think he'll win it. I mean, that's a stretch.
It's a snapshot of where we are at the moment.
Absolutely. Positively it is, yeah.
Well, why? I mean, he keeps stringing games together like he's been doing.
You never know. Never know.
Why not? But let's talk about the rest of the team and what it's going to take today to do to get this victory. We'll talk keys to victory. We're going to talk offense. We're going to do it in Pat's preview. We're going to do it right now.
Pat's preview.
We'll keep working. We've had some good runs, and we've had some pitiful ones too. And so we just have to make sure that there's a consistency, that we're coaching the details, that we're coaching the demeanor, and understand that it's gonna be some dirty runs in there, and that we're gonna have to make a guy miss or break a tackle, things that we've done throughout the season, and be able to do all those while taking care of the football and trying to move the line of scrimmage. So, probably wished we probably had some more production in the run game there at the end. We got the one first down, and then we were able to throw for the second one.
That, of course, was Mike Vrabel this week talking about the lack of the running game. And Mark just brought that up on the other side there. So, okay, Mark, well, let's talk about the offense and the keys to the victory. We got to talk about this running game. Now, the Raiders last week against the Titans, they were only rushed for 68 yards. Okay, Ashton Genty rushed for 75 yards off 23 carries. It was only 3 point. They only averaged as a team, the Raiders, 2.1 yards per carry against this Titans defense. So is this going to be more of the same? And we broke down yesterday some of the issues that we think they're having. But I want to ask you again, what are the issues? Can they get it done today? Is it critical for them to get this going?
I think, here's the thing, Chris. I think it's critical to establish this today because I think this is a team that you can do it against, because if you're going to turn the running game around, you need to build some confidence, Chris. You need 1 week to build off of the next and the next and the next. And this is a good starting point to start that building of that run game back, because this is a team you should be able to do that against, Chris. You really should. I know they got Simmons in the middle of the field on the defensive line, and he's their anchor over there. So you mentioned on the show yesterday, Chris, that maybe they should diversify the run game a bit. And I know that's not McDaniels' style, but I think you might have to this week, Chris. You got to establish the run. Because eventually you're going to run up against some teams that are better. They're going to shut your passing game down, Chris, just because you don't have the skilled players at the receiver position, and you're going to have to run the ball. You have to do that today. And listen, don't get me wrong. The Titans' pass defense is terrible too. So Maye should be able to have a field day. I would expect Maye. Here's what I'm expecting, Chris. I'm expecting a huge offensive game, 450 yards, 300 by Maye, 300 by Maye.
300 by Maye.
300 passing yards by Maye against this paper defense, and like 125, 150 yards rushing. I'm expecting a big offensive game, and I'm expecting a blowout against this team. I think they're going to go. I think they're going to do it for Mike.
But who's it coming from? Listen, here's the thing, okay? And we'll talk about that in Coach's Corner. About who's the running? Where's it coming from? Because here's my thing, okay? I'm watching these running backs right now, and we got two guys. First of all, you got Ramondre Stevenson, who's right now, his head is, all he's concerned about is putting the ball on the ground. So instinctually, you lose something when that happens. The vision, taking some chances and some risks, as to how your patience in cutting into the hole and how you hit the second level and those kinds of things. So you got that going on. And then you got Trevion Henderson, okay, who is a disappointment and a half right so far, okay, because Joe talked about it yesterday. He talked about his explosiveness, and when are we going to see that explosiveness? And I don't understand. And I get it. It's a fair point about he's an explosive player, but he hasn't figured out yet how to run with any type of patience and allow plays to develop. And he runs to contact. Now I don't know if that gets solved in a blink of an eye right now, but to me, I look at Henderson and say, look, if we're going to do what you're suggesting, Mark, today, you got to give this kid the ball 15 times. You just got to make him your feature back at this point. I don't care that he's 190 pounds. I'm not interested in that right now. He can handle. In Ohio State, he handled some load. I mean, he'll do it. But that's the only way you're gonna break him of this. Is you got to give him the touches. So to me, I look at this game and say, this is the perfect opportunity to say, this kid's going to carry the ball 12, 15 times in this game, and we'll see what we get from it.
Yeah. And, Chris, the other thing also, you're right, and they got to establish the run. I firmly believe that. But the other thing, Chris, in this game, too, so we talked about.
Or else you're never going to know what you have.
No. We talked about Maye and Drake Mania. And this particular team, as you dive into it, and I know you have too, you've looked at the film, as you dive into this defense, their pass defense particularly,
what Tennessee,
what they struggle with is what McDaniels' offense, at least, has always been predicated on. So the Titans' pass defense, Chris, they struggle particularly against seam routes. Okay, in their cover 3 schemes, they struggle. And they struggle in the flat, Chris, when they have their 2 high safeties. They struggle. If you can get the ball out in the flat, they give up chunks and chunks of yardage. Yeah. Those 2 areas, you would think in a Josh McDaniels offense, is something we can exploit.
Yeah. The question becomes, are you going to see the 2 high shell? See, this is the problem. When teams play against New England.
I don't know if they'll go out of it, Chris, because I just think that's what they run. I don't think they, like, in other words, you would think a good team would adjust, right? But
they're going to look at say, we got to play single high, play man. They got no receivers that can kill us downfield. It's going to be interesting
to watch, Chris, though. The majority of their play snaps, that's what they're running. But let's see if they adjust.
Well, if they sit in a cover 2, Mark, if they sit in that cover 2 shell where the flats have been hurting them, then damn it, you got to be able to run the ball because they're begging you to run the ball at that point.
Yeah.
Now, it's not going to be, how long is it going to be before listen to your point, how long is it going to be before teams start to keep getting burned by Drake Maye? Okay. And sitting in those single high looks with man underneath it. And he just keeps beating you. And then when you are in zone, when you are in a version of that zone and they like to run some cover 3, where Diggs is sitting down in those zones, he's finding spots, and now Booty seems to be finding some of those holes, and maybe even Douglas too. How long is it going to be before you say, yeah, you know what, we can't do that. We're going to make this team run the ball against us, and we're going to play in the show. We're going to play a shell. If that happens, you better damn well be able to run the ball, which means also the offensive line, you got to make it easier for them, Mark. Like, you got to zone rushes have to be on the table. You got to be able to rush to the edges, especially when you get a guy like Simmons in the middle of the field for them. You know, in the middle of that defensive front.
Yeah.
Where you said at the beginning of this segment. So McDaniels is gonna have to get out of his comfort zone a little bit, where he likes those AB gap runs, tackle to tackle, hat on hat, not so much, not tons of pulling, not tons of movement with the offensive line, not isolating zones where you're creating double teams and creating big gaps for the back to choose from. He's going to have to get away from his comfort zone. He's going to have to run those types of have those types of runs this week, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. No, positively.
So I mean, now when it comes to the wide receivers, Mark,
yep,
it's a different guy every week. Now, last week made through to I think 9 different guys. But that's this type of that's what this offense allows for. You know, is to spread the ball all over the field. Chisholm was active last week. You know, I believe it's solely for the return game.
I do,
which is where we saw him.
I do too. But you never know, Chris. If Douglas gets dinged, Chisholm's going to get on the field.
Yeah. So who's it going to be this week? Who's the guy this week?
I think Diggs is going to have a game this week for Vrabel. Yeah. He knows Vrabel wants this game. I think you're going to see. I think you're going to see Diggs have another big game this week. I think Booty will play well again. I think Booty got some confidence last week, but I think you're going to see Diggs have a better game this week than he had last week. Even though I think they're going to probably scheme to take him out, I think he'll have a better game, Chris.
Well, he would have had a much better game than he did had the officiating been called. Yeah. If it was called properly.
Jesus, Chris, I don't mean to get it. I don't want to review last week's game, but we did that yesterday on the Pats Nation. But I'm sorry, Corso and Catone, but wasn't that the worst officiated game you've ever seen?
Ever. I've never seen it. I've never seen such a bad performance of the officials. So you took a lot of catches away from Diggs in that game. No, I think you're right. I think Diggs is going to have a game. I just don't think, and I think Booty is if they're going to play too high like that, then Booty should be able to, with his quickness, be able to exploit the center of the field against them. I'm not Booty. Douglas should be able to exploit the middle of that field a little bit. Boy, I would love to see Chisholm.
I know somebody who. I was just going to say, I know somebody who would.
Mark,
especially against this team, Chris.
Like, do you feel like? But look, Vrabel. Listen. He loves his wideouts, Mark. Listen.
Sometimes they can be like, damn, when am I getting the damn ball?
Give me the ball. I understand that, and I do appreciate that, and I try to tell them that their efforts don't go unnoticed, whether that's how they play without the football, whether that's running a route that may clear somebody out and open up a second window, or their ability to
I was Booty
play,
Douglas
block somebody, or their ability to get open and catch the ball and make a critical play. So I think that they have understood the fact that if they keep working and they keep getting open, their quarterback's going to be able to find them. And then, it's kind of been a different guy each week.
So.
Okay, does he really
loves the unsung heroes, doesn't he?
Yeah, does he really love them, or is he just trying to build them up and build a culture, right? We talked about this yesterday, right? What's he going to do? He's got nobody else. I mean, yes, you could put Chisholm in there. Don't get me wrong. But other than that, you got nobody else. There's nobody on that bench that you can replace any of these guys with.
Right. No, he knows what he has. He has to, we'll talk more about this in Coach's Corner, but he's got to get these guys to play over their heads. Yeah. That's it. That's the only way to do it. The only way to do that is get in the corner. You're not going to do that by screaming and yelling at them and dogging them every 2 minutes.
What about the defense this week?
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that on the other side. So this portion of Pat's preview was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm, CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. When we come back, Mark is teasing this. Defense is next. Stick around.
No one ever thinks they will be in need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys.
Back in with more Pats Nation. All right, Mark, we talked about the offense. What some of those keys to victory are. Let's talk about the defense now. We didn't get to really talk much about it yesterday on Corso and Catone, so let's go back in time a little bit, okay, with this defense and talk about last week's game against the Saints. Mark, listen, this team, the first 7 once again, they allowed the Saints into their zone, into their end of the field, the first 7 possessions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long are you going to get away with that? I mean, you're playing trash bag teams. I get it. So,
you'll get away with it until you play real playoff caliber teams. Not that we play many. Not that we play many in the regular season, but eventually it's going to catch up to you. Yes, it will.
They're playing better.
Let me ask you this, Chris, though. What can they do when you don't have the ability or the talent in that middle of the field? You brought up at least 5 or 6 passes, Chris, out to running backs on Sunday of last week. You said, Mark, but if that was one of those linebackers from San Francisco, Greenlaw gets there, right? He can't get there. Spillane can't get there. By the time he gets there, it's a 5-yard gain. He can't close the gap. They don't have any linebacker on the roster, Chris, that can go sideline to sideline and close the gap.
They've been getting away with it. Listen, they're
getting away with it. Yes,
they're tops. They're on the tops in the league in the top 5 or whatever against the run. Okay, so they give the appearance that they're stopping the run really well. Okay, because they are. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that teams just aren't disciplined to stay with it. Because I've watched a lot of edge issues with this team, whether it be Jennings, Chason, or he's not so bad. White is atrocious at it, and Landry, and we're not setting edge.
Well, now they solved that problem. They brought Tavai back.
Yeah, Joe. I he wants me to scream and yell. Tavai stinks. He stinks. He stinks. Okay. He shouldn't be on the edge. He shouldn't be in the middle. It's just another example of why Vrabel understands what he's got on this team. Tavai will not be on this team next year. I'm telling you now, he will not. He was a captain last year. Is he a captain this year?
No.
Because he stinks.
So you mentioned edges.
The edge. When teams decide they want to run the ball against us, they're going to be able to run the ball against us. Okay, and that's what I'm concerned about a little bit too. But like you, I'm most concerned. Like I said, they're playing well in spots, in situations. What I worry about is this idea of between the 20s, like they're one of the worst teams in the red zone on defense. I think teams are like 7 for 7 or something like that from goal line and in. Okay. So they got a problem in the red zone, and they seem to be this kind of team that just allows teams into their end, and then they'll get a turnover. The other team will get penalties. Let's not forget that the teams they've played against have averaged like 8 to 10 penalties a game. So it's no coincidence that every single time those teams are getting into the red zone and close to it, boom, there's a 10-yard penalty pop. There's a 5-yard penalty. There's a procedural penalty, and that bails them out. They've been bailed out a lot this year by other teams' mistakes, which isn't sustainable.
No, it's not.
So when we talk about the middle of the field, when Mark talks about the middle of the field, you did a great job in describing the issue. The sideline to sideline stuff, the athleticism. Safety is a huge problem. They brought safeties in this week.
Duggan looked good Sunday, didn't he?
Oh,
Chris,
how do you sit a flat? How do you sit in that? How do you sit as a safety? Okay, and you have you're sitting at, because I'm pretty sure he wasn't coached to sit in a flat foot read while staring into the backfield while the goddamn receiver goes by him. I'm pretty sure nobody's coaching that. I would have lost my mind. When
if he was one of your guys?
That long pass to begin the game? The Saints have. So, okay, so what do they do about it? So, okay, we've addressed the issues. Now what do they do? Well, so today, I mean, again, you're playing guys that just, they're not that good. Cam Ward, I mean, you're going to be able to confuse him with look, your pressure packages with him. If Tennessee can't run the ball, now they rushed for 65 yards last week. So with Pollard and Spears, right? If they can't rush the ball against New England, then the Patriots pressure packages with those front four should be able to get to Cam Ward, and they should create problems.
You should be able to confuse him, Chris, with different looks. In addition to the pressure packages, you're right. You should be able to confuse him. I mean, Chris, he's been sacked 25 times and has had 8 turnovers in the first 6 games of the season.
Yeah.
So, Jesus, if you can't rattle him and get him, backpedaling and doing all kind of different stuff, then that's a problem.
And the one thing you got to worry about is sending a lot of pressure because he is athletic. He is athletic as hell, and he is mobile.
He is. He is.
So you can't get pressure happy where you're just blitz happy. This is going to have to be a Milton Williams, Bondmore, if Chason's playing, if Landry's playing. These guys are going to have to get pressure with 4 and set edge to contain him.
And you mentioned, Chris, the running game with Pollard and Spears. And Pollard still is a dangerous weapon, Chris. He can still play. And so, we talk about the Patriots' run defense has been good, but Pollard can break free for a big play if you don't, you're going to be on your game. But if you can handle the running and put it in Ward's hands, I mean, you should be all right.
But they're gonna have to do something to mask the issue they have at the safety spot, because if Hawkins isn't playing, okay, then you're left with Duggar again.
Yeah. The only difference this week, Chris, is the Titans' offense is 31st in the league in passing and 25th in the league in rushing.
Yeah.
If you can't handle this team as a defense,
Well, I mean, I think they're going to win the game. I think they're going to win the game big. But when we're pointing out what the issues are of this defense,
there's issues. There's a lot of issues.
Is it going to come home to roost this week? No, probably not. They'll probably get away with it again. But understand, make no mistake, they have a serious issue in the middle of the field. They got more athletic this season. They did, for sure. But it just goes to show you how really bad it was last year.
Chris, I'm going to tell you when they're going to really struggle. I know we're talking about the Titans, but next week they're playing a team that everybody is overlooking, the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland's got 2 real athletic tight ends. Yeah. Next week, watch what the middle of that field looks like with those tight ends.
Yeah. Watch. This week you should be okay with it. So key is, you can't have any stupid penalties on defense. You can't afford to. You gotta, on third down, you gotta get off the field. Now, Tennessee.
Hey, Chris, listen, the only thing that can get you in trouble, you're gonna win the turnover battle. If you start coughing the ball up, that'll get that. You don't want you're gonna win the turnover battle. Don't get yourself in trouble with 3-4 turnovers again, like you did against Pittsburgh, and you should be all right.
Now, I'm not a huge fan of the linebackers, but Ellis, listen, they have been doing a good job in trying to get the ball out. Vrabel has been preaching that to these guys.
Yeah,
keep working. Just keep working at it. Just keep working the technique.
That play by Ellis last week, Chris, when he punched that ball out, was a great play.
It was a great play. And also, the last thing I'll say is, to me, the best player on defense, Mark, has been Marcus Jones.
Yeah, he has been. He really has been.
I mean, this is a kid.
Chris, he's been a pleasant surprise. We didn't expect that from him this year.
He's had sacks. He's had interceptions. He's had pass breakups. That play last week where he was in good coverage. Now, they take advantage of his height and they go over the top of him. But he was a big reason why that ball, they came down. I forget who the receiver was. They didn't challenge it, but it was a catch and a fumble.
It was.
So they've been opportunistic in trying to create turnovers, and that's what they're going to have to do today in order to really cement themselves as, okay, we're a team that needs to be reckoned with, because that's this type of game today. This type of game is the type of game where the defense needs to stand up and say, you stink, and we're going to show you why. We're not letting you over the 50-yard line much, if at all, But you allow this team to go into your zone 7 times again, 8 times.
That's a problem.
It's a problem because Tennessee stinks. They really do.
They do stink.
So that's the breakdown. I mean, those are the keys to victory. Play clean football and create a lot of good turnovers and, Be
And to
fast.
your
Play
point,
fast.
Chris, you're going to have to, deal with that changing of coach bounce, right? They may get a little bounce out of that.
They will. They'll
Yeah.
get some of that. They're going to get some of that, but we'll deal with it. That's what it is. But Pat's preview was presented by Corso and Catone, the real deal New England Field, Saturdays, noon Eastern. Hey, we got it all. Next week, we're going to be breaking down this Titans game, so make sure you're coming back for that. Catone's comments, you got something good in store for us?
I don't know. You keep that cutting me out. You come up with these other segments.
Boy, he's such a goddamn baby,
I
Joe.
get preempted, Joe. I get preempted.
I'm never going to hear. You're never going to hear the
He's got breaking news. He's got all kind of stuff.
Now, breaking news.
Yeah.
So make sure you're sticking around and coming back to Corso and Catone Saturdays, noon Eastern. When we come back, going to go into the coach's room. Coach's Corner is next. The real deal New England Field. What does that mean? We're like you. We're going to bitch about everything.
My opinion, our draft, the good, the bad, it was ugly.
These people, Mark, drive me freaking insane. Bananas.
It's so frustrating and aggravating. I can't take it.
The real deal New England Field. It's going to be real. Back in with more Pats Nation. All right, let's talk a little bit of coaching, shall we?
Coach's Corner.
There's going to be probably a lot to be said about this, and I think would file under the category of, is it interesting or important? And I would probably say this would be very interesting, but in the end, not very important to our preparation or what we need to continue to try to do to improve as a team. But having spent, 6 years there or 7 years there, I mean, it's, I think it'll be nice to see some people that I haven't seen in a few years that helped us win, players and staff. But, we've got a huge job here to do as we prepare for them.
Of course, was Mike Vrabel when asked about returning to the Titans, where he was let go a season and a half ago, right? I would say.
Yeah.
It does take a little less luster because the coach was fired. The coach that replaced him was just fired.
He wanted to go up against Callahan. You know that for a fact. Yeah.
Does it make a difference? Does it matter to him?
No, because at the end of the day, Chris, he got into a beef with the ownership.
Oh, see, I think it matters. I
No.
think this matters to him.
No. It doesn't. I thought you meant the firing of Callahan.
No, not that.
No,
this game.
The game. Oh, positively it matters. 100%, 1,000% it matters. 1,000%. Absolutely.
Okay, so obviously he doesn't want it to be a distraction.
And it's not going to be a distraction, Chris, but he's going to let his team know that this game means something to me, boys. He's going to let them know in practice this week. He's going to say, we need to have a little bit of a heightened focus this week because, Stefan, Buffalo mattered to you. This game matters to me, pal. You know what I mean? That message is being put out there this week to the team.
Oh, they don't. I don't even think they need. I don't even think they need to. I don't even think they need that message because I think it's just kind of it's understood. You got fired because if you look at it, if you think about it, right, and you look back and you say, well, in what situation has Vrabel ever been in that he was basically shown the door and not really wanted? It didn't. It only happened here when he was a player because
some money.
Yeah, and he had some stuff to say about he had some stuff to say about crafts, and
he was kind of vocal with the union at the time. Remember, he was on the union
Patriots place and all
yeah. You know what I mean?
So I mean, but ultimately, he's always been the guy. He's always been wanted wherever he's been in Houston and everywhere else. Except for this place, except for Tennessee, where they showed him the door. I would imagine he's, this is a guy that runs down the sidelines chasing a goddamn kickoff return. I I think this guy's
Chris,
fired up for this.
And his last year in Tennessee, correct me if I'm wrong, was Belichick's last year here, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because Kraft threw out the olive branch that year. I think in anticipation that this was probably going to be Mike's Bill's last year, they did the red jacket.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And he came back on an off week, a bye week.
Well, he was asked
Talk
that
about
question.
how special the place was. He said it during the ceremony.
That's right. He said it's not like this. He said it's not like this everywhere
Another
else.
place. Yeah.
At other places. Now, he was asked that question this week, too, about do you think that those comments were one of the reasons you got shown you let go or whatever, and, did that bother the ownership down there in Tennessee? And his response to that was, no, I mean, losing did. Losing games did.
Which was the right answer. Right answer.
So, I mean, okay, so the culture. I mean, I listened to Greg Bedard talking about this team, because there were some questions talking about the Pats being the Chiefs and things like that. So this is what.
So that means that the way that they're playing, right now is sort of course the Chiefs have I would say a better defense and they have Spags, but if Mahomes doesn't turn the ball over and he makes 5-6 difference-making plays, the Chiefs are probably going to win. If Drake Maye does that, if he takes care of the ball like he has, and he makes that 4 to 6 plays, elite-level plays, the Patriots are going to win. No matter what's going on with the running game, the defense, Drake Maye is going to lead them to a victory.
Does that concern you a little bit that they've become so quarterback-centric overnight?
Absolutely. I think that, and we've seen this, whether it's with the Chiefs or, Josh Allen and the Bills, when the run game evaporates, the defense is on the field. And this was another game. I think the Saints, on their first 7 possessions, went into Patriots territory. All of a sudden, more falls on the quarterback, and now you're relying him to bail you out. I think bad habits develop. That's when you start getting turnovers. That's when he starts getting hit. Yes, I'm worried about that.
So I wanted to play that because talking about the reliance on the quarterback and so on, this goes back to what you were saying about what he knows he has and doesn't have. And it leads me to ask this question. On the list of reasons why this team is 4-2 and they're in first place. They're in first place, by the way, everybody out there, they're in first place in the division, Joe. So is
Joe
where's the coaching on the list? Where's the coaching is the reason for this? Where's Vrabel on that list?
For being
the reasons why they are where they are right now. Where are they on the list?
Well,
I've been listening to it all week.
I think
is Vrabel the reason? Is Maye?
Well, listen. Obviously, Drake Maye's a big reason why, but I think a big reason why Drake Maye's doing what he's doing is because of coaching. I think Josh has done a great job with him. I know Mike don't want to admit that and doesn't admit it. And when they ask him the question, he kind of quickly changes the subject or talks about somebody else. But, it's coaching because Josh has played a big role in that, I think, and that understanding of what's expected and what has to be done in the command of the offense. Obviously, that's Drake, but Josh has a big role in that. And I'm going to be honest with you, Chris. The team's winning because Vrabel has figured out that this isn't the most talented roster in the league. Obviously, we're flawed. I'm getting these guys to play over their heads every week by motivating them, by having their back, by developing this culture. Because if they don't play over their heads in some cases every week, we can't win because we just don't have the talent. And I think he knows that.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean, Chris?
Yeah, no, I listen, I agree with that completely. He's looking down the line. I mean, he's looking ahead. He's thinking.
So when people say, "Oh, they're winning because of Drake Maye," yeah, they are. But don't sell Vrabel short. And you and I were not the biggest Vrabel fans. We did not like the hire, right? We weren't crazy about the hire. Not that we didn't like it, but we wanted a more offensive-minded coach, right? When they hired him. We did.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to give him credit. And you said the same thing, Chris. He's done a masterful job with this team, with the talent level he's got. He knows what he has to do to win with this team. And I got to give him credit for doing it, Chris. And you even said it. He's smarter than you thought he was because he's gotten this team to play and buy in with, you know what I mean? And he's being an apologist at times for guys and for his defense. But he's had to do that, Chris. He realizes what buttons he's going to push to get this team to keep playing.
Not only that, but what you pointed out too about what's coming next. Hey,
Yes.
if I'm going to get behind a guy that's putting the ball on the ground as many times as Stevenson does, listen, Mike Vrabel knows what he has there. He's not, but he's looking down the line and saying, I got free agency coming soon, and I need better talent on this team. Well, these guys, the way that today's player is going to look at a coach like that and say he has their back when he put the ball on the ground like 12 times in 2 years. Yeah, I'll
come play with him.
I'll go play with him.
Yeah.
Does Vic, real quick, does
The play caller
have to be better? Does he have to be better? I don't think he had a great game last year.
No, he didn't have a great game last week, Chris. I thought he was running the ball too much on first down, and he wouldn't go away from it. I think he's got to get better. I think Josh.
Second half, he had a tough second half.
He had a tough second half, Chris, and I think Josh has to call a better game moving forward. Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, I think Josh bailed him out on some of his play calling Sunday, Chris. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Not Josh. I mean Drake. Drake bailed Josh out.
No, I agree with that. I really do. And so, listen, he's establishing a good culture there. It's clear. The team loves him. And Mark's right. They're going to play for him today. They are going to play for him today. It's going to be a level of energy that we saw it in Buffalo. And I think you're going to see it again for a real trash bag kind of game. Yeah. It ain't going to be that. It ain't going to be that for them. So a trap game, maybe, but I don't think they're going to let their coach down. They have too much respect for him. So good stuff. But Coach's Corner was actually, you know what? No commercial here. We're going to go right into Sunday spread, aren't we, Joe?
Yeah.
You there?
Let's do it.
Let's go with the Sunday spread. So, talking about last week, Mark. Every time.
Now it's not going to come when you want it.
I'm always hesitating when I start to talk Sunday.
I know.
I never knew he was going to play that crap. But let's talk about this game, okay, for a minute. So the line 7. Patriots are favored by 7, and it's 42.5. What do you got? Yeah, last week I was pretty close.
You were good. You were close last week. I'm going to go on a limb. Yeah.
I had 27-17 last week. It turned out to be 25-19. I still had the same amount of points, but
37-17 Patriots.
We can come up with 37 though.
Yeah, field goal here,
34, and then they're gonna kick again.
37. Yeah, 37. I'm gonna say 37.
37 what?
17.
17. So you got them scoring 17 against us?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think our defense will allow a garbage touchdown late when it's meaningless.
Yeah, I think we're going to get over 32. I got it at 34-14.
Okay.
I mean, I think they're going to wipe this team. I think they're going to wipe their ass for them.
Yeah.
I really do. In this game, I will say it. I think they're going to really wipe their ass for them. I got 34-17 Patriots. Obviously, the 7 points doesn't bother me at all. And I don't think it should bother you. So let's get to some other games. Let's get to making people money. What do you got?
All right, Chris. So this week, tough week this week, Christopher. Tough week.
They're all tough. It is a tough week, though. Actually, it is. There are a lot of kind of games that you'd say I want to stay away from.
You want to stay away from them, right? So, you know what I'm going to start out with, Chris? And everyone's going to think I'm crazy. And I know it's not a Sunday game, unfortunately.
Everybody already thinks you're crazy. Yeah. So go ahead.
My best bet this week, believe it or not, is Monday night.
Yeah.
Detroit lost to Kansas City. we believe the coach kind of wet himself down his leg in that game.
Yeah, that was so disappointing.
It was disappointing that they're giving what 6.5 at home.
Yeah,
to Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay's been playing really well. Tampa Bay's got the best record in the NFC. Tampa Bay's going to get the doors. They're going to get smoked. I think Detroit's going to score a zillion points.
It's 5.5.
Yeah, Detroit's going to win. Detroit's going to cover 5.5. I love Detroit at home this week. It's a bounce back game. They're going to win big this week. Big at home.
I don't know who's playing, who's not for the receivers for Tampa.
I think Ibuka's going to be out. I don't, or if he plays, he's not going to be 100%. I bet they because it was a hamstring. I bet you they sit him this week just to be cautious with him because they need him for the long haul.
Well, if he's not playing and Evans isn't playing, and I don't know what Godwin said, well, yeah, then you may have a real problem, and they may have a real problem. So there's that game. Okay, exactly. I'll go. Then you give me another one. Okay, the Giants are going to Denver. Okay, and they're getting 7 points. Listen, I'm telling you all right now.
My God, no!
One of the games that is going to be one of the most entertaining games all season long is going to be when the Giants come to New England. Okay, I think they're playing in New England, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, that's going to be an entertaining as hell game, man. The Giants have something going. Giants have something right now. I know Neighbors is out. I get it. Okay, but these two kids, Dart and Scatterboo, this team has something right now, and I think they're going to walk into Denver, and I think they're going to beat them outright in this game. I am not as high up as some people are on Denver. I'm not. I think they're going to run.
Denver looked awful last week, Chris.
Yeah, it's a game they should have lost, but the Jets are so bad.
The Jets are so bad.
I mean, the coaching staff was just atrocious in that 2-minute drill. My God. But anyway, in London. But yeah, Giants are getting 7. Yeah, take that. And I think the Giants win the game outright. What else you got?
Chris, I hate to go back to the well, but I'm going to go back to the well.
Joe, he's always very,
I don't see how Philadelphia does it. Chris, I got to take Philadelphia.
I am so disappointed with them.
I know I'm disappointed in them. I know they're on the road.
We got to root against them. We want them to lose. We want to get A.J. Brown out of there.
I know we got to root against them, Chris, but listen, they're going to right the ship this week because I don't think Minnesota's that good. What's the line? I think Philadelphia's 1.5, depending on what you're using, whether it's DraftKings or something else.
I'm trying to find it. It's where am I? I'll find it. Go ahead.
I like Philadelphia. I think they win. They cover at Minnesota. I don't care if J.J. McCarthy's coming back or not. I really don't care. Philadelphia has to get right here.
So you like that game? Okay, it's 1.5. It's 1.5. Sorry, kept scrolling right past it.
They're just going to win the game. They basically just going to win the game. So
the other game that I like is Indianapolis is now. This Chargers team really pisses me off. I got to tell you though, but
this was the other game I looked at.
They're so disappointing. They really are. They could have grab hold of that division. They haven't done it yet. But I think this week, they're going to expose Indianapolis a little bit. The team, I don't think it is as good as people think they are. It's 1.5 that the Chargers are giving up. It's basically a pick. Take the Chargers at home in that game, and the other one is Green Bay. Green Bay's giving up 8.5 going to Arizona. Arizona stinks. They stink.
But Arizona plays well at home, though, Chris.
I don't care. Green Bay's going to slaughter that team.
All right, can I pick the trash? Can I pick the trash bowl?
Yes.
I'm going to pick the trash bowl. I got to do it the trash bowl. Carolina are at the New York Jets.
Oh,
it's the
that
trash
is a
bowl.
trash game. That's a 1.5.
1.5. It's a trash bowl. I'm taking the Jets, Jets at home to get their first win. They're going to get their first win of the season for that coach who's an absolute clown.
They're home underdogs. They're home dogs by 1.5. So Mark's got the Jets.
I'm going to take the Jets to win their first game of the season.
All right. Well,
Jets.
Well, you heard it here first. So make sure everybody out there, you bet for want, not for need. Gamble responsibly. The Pats Nation was presented by Corso and Catone. Saturdays, noon Eastern. Next week, we're going to have our breakdown of this Titans game, along with Catone's comments and so much more. And come back next weekend, 8 a.m. Eastern. Going to have a pregame breakdown of this great team that Mark thinks the Cleveland Browns that are coming into town, and I think you're going to be at that game. So
I am going to be at that game.
we'll have our breakdown of that game and so much more. We are the Pats Nation.
I may be drinking during the show next week, just for the record.
Enjoy the game.
The play caller